Welcome back to Montreal. Here we go. It's main event time. And we're going back to the curtain call.
The following contest is a tag team steel cage match. Introducing first, from Miami, Florida, weighing in at 287 pounds, the bad guy, Razor Ramon.
As we said, we're taking it back to the curtain call for this one, May of 1996. The final appearance of Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, and Kevin Nash, a.k.a. Diesel, in a WWF ring before they departed for WCW, where, of course, we all know how that turned out. The NWO would be born. But it was at Madison Square Garden in May of 1996, where Razor Ramon would have a singles match with Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the undercard at Madison Square Garden. And then in the main event, it was Diesel and Shawn Michaels for the World Wrestling Federation Championship inside of a steel cage. And then when it was all said and done, Razor Ramon and Hunter Hearst Helmsley both returned to the ring. And what went down was one of the most infamous moments in pro wrestling history.
And representing Dudes with Attitudes, from Detroit, Michigan, weighing in at 317 pounds, Big Daddy Cool, Diesel!
Well, that one fan really loves Diesel, and understandably so. But speaking of Diesel, as he was laying there following the conclusion of the main event steel cage match with Shawn Michaels, and Razor Ramon and Hunter Hearst Helmsley returned to the ring, Shawn Michaels would bend down to check on his former friend, turned enemy, and opponent, and then all of a sudden everybody would start embracing. The crowd at Madison Square Garden didn't know what to make of it, but they all seemed to love it. It was a little confusing to see the heels and the Diesel and Hunter Hearst Helmsley interacting with the good guys, the baby faces, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. But if you've ever watched any clips of the curtain call, you know that the crowd in Madison Square Garden loved every second of it. And we got to give a quick shout out to the kid who snuck the video camera in that day in May of 1996, because without him, there may be no evidence other than some photos of the curtain call.
And representing Dudes with Attitude, from San Antonio, Texas, weighing in at 227 pounds, the World Champion, the Superstar.
Shawn Michaels, the World Wrestling Federation Champion, making his way to the ring. As we were telling the story of the curtain call, it was Shawn Michaels who brought Diesel to his feet, essentially. And while the fans in Madison Square Garden loved every second of the curtain call, it would seem, most of the fans anyway, I'm sure there were some in attendance that were not fans at the moment, wrestling purists lost their mind and things really spiraled out of control. It altered history. It especially altered history for our next and final entrant into this steel cage match. The man who we have since learned was slated for big things prior to the curtain call.
Representing D-Generation X, from West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing in at 260 pounds, Hunter
Hearst Helmsley. Kind of weird. West Newbury, Massachusetts. That really caught my attention. I mean, they could have, I'm sure, like, Stanford's got to be in the game at the very least. If Greenwich isn't in the game, Stanford's got to be in the game. Weird choice. Anyway, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, as we have since learned, was slated for some very big things before the curtain call happened. Namely, he was supposed to be the 1996 King of the Ring. And now that has always begged the question, without the curtain call happening, do we ever see Austin 316 in its phenomenon? And the answer to that question is no. The reason why the answer to that question is no is because if Hunter Hearst Helmsley had won the King of the Ring in 1996 as it was scheduled, sure, Steve Austin might have won the King of the Ring in 1997, but you know who wouldn't have been around at that point in time? Jake the Snake Roberts. By mid-1997, Jake the Snake Roberts was not going to be in the King of the Ring tournament for Austin to wipe the floor with. The sentimental battle, the return with the battle with addiction, had been done in 1996, and I would be willing to bet it's still done in 1996, even without the curtain call, because that's just how Jake Roberts' particular storyline at that time was. So if Hunter Hearst Helmsley wins the King of the Ring in 1996, I've long theorized that Steve Austin maybe does pop off eventually as a star in WWE, but it's without Austin 316. And of course, there was no punishment to be had for Shawn Michaels coming out of the curtain call, and obviously no punishments for Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, who were leaving the company. Scott Hall would show up on WCW Nitro just 8 days later, coming through the crowd and kicking off one of the most revolutionary storylines for its time with the New World Order. So we've managed to get deep into this contest here without really sharing the rules. In this one, the only way to win is for both members of the team to escape. Now you might be saying, Bloody Bill, you always complain about cage matches having the escape rule. Well, when I made this tag team cage match, it wouldn't let me have pinfalls and submissions. That's the truth. And if it would let me do it, I couldn't figure it out. So the way to win in this one is both members of the team have to escape. On one side, we could say that it's Diesel and Razor Ramon trying to escape the World Wrestling Federation for World Championship Wrestling. And then on the other side, it's Shawn Michaels and Hunter Hearst Helmsley looking to escape the ring to get back into the safe arms of the World Wrestling Federation. Frankly, the Kevin Nash and Scott Hall or Diesel and Razor Ramon version is a lot more entertaining than just saying, oh, they're escaping to go back to work. Shawn Michaels is quickly climbing his way up on the cage. He's up on the top. Razor Ramon also looking to climb the cage here. Diesel's got to move quick if he wants to stop Michaels from exiting this steel cage match. Razor Ramon now sitting up on the top. He's looking to exit the cage as well. Here comes Hunter Hearst Helmsley as Razor Ramon's looking to exit while Diesel is bringing Shawn Michaels back into the ring. Hunter Hearst Helmsley able to stop Razor Ramon. Oh, down goes Hunter. Diesel now climbing up as well as Razor Ramon is now trying to make his way out, but Hunter is back again. Shawn Michaels and Hunter Hearst Helmsley stopping both. Now Diesel hanging that big leg down, looking to make his way out of the cage, but here comes Shawn Michaels once again. It's a heated battle here between these two teams. They're both looking to get the hell out of this cage. Hunter gets knocked down again. Shawn Michaels is trying to find his footing. Razor is climbing back up to the top of the cage. Hunter is now going to try to stop Razor once again, and he does. Shawn Michaels up on the top, trying to lock up with nobody. He is shimmying his way across the cage. Oh, man, he just grabbed Razor by the skull, bashing his head off the top of the steel cage, and then Razor returns fire to him as well. These two are battling it out on top of the cage, and Shawn Michaels crashes back down onto the mat. Hunter trying to grab Diesel, and he does, but this could be the opening that Razor needs to get out of the cage. And it is. Razor Ramon successfully climbing his way down the cage, but that now leaves Diesel at a disadvantage as he will find himself in a 2-on-1 situation. However, this is a good thing for Diesel and Razor, as they now have the one-man advantage, but as you can see, Hunter Hearst Helmsley was guarding Diesel as Shawn Michaels is climbing the cage. Diesel's going to have to make a choice. There are two men climbing. He's going to have to choose to stop one of them. Hunter is on top of the cage. Shawn Michaels is on top of the cage, and Diesel does not know what to do about it. They played a successful game on Diesel. They confused the hell out of him. And Shawn Michaels and Hunter Hearst Helmsley with a 1-2 punch are going to win this cage match. There it is. Hunter Hearst Helmsley drops down moments after Shawn Michaels does. And in this curtain call cage match, great replay screen, yeah. Great replay of the crowd. Awesome. I love them. Great crowd there. Gotta love to see it. But in this curtain call cage match, it is the team that stuck around that takes the victory. What a main event this week here on Fantasy Warfare. Shawn Michaels and Hunter Hearst Helmsley take the victory.